Hello Radiant Souls, we are at the Pont du Gard, which is just behind me, just north of Nimes in France. And for today's yoga class, it's going to be a quite strong, powerful class, but there will be points where we will be stretching our bodies as well. So it'll be a nice balance between stretch and strength in this class. And that's all you need to know before we start this class. We are going to start in a wide leg child's pose. So you can bring yourself to the back of your space. Bring your big toes together, knees wide apart. Walk the hands forwards and you can just rest the forehead onto the mat. Really stretch the fingertips as high to the top of your mat as you can to feel the length down the side bodies. And just start to take some deep connected breaths. Maybe walk your knees a little bit further apart to really get deep into the hips. Take a big inhale through your nose. And exhale, let it go. Just a few rounds of breath like this. Just trying to slow things down before we start moving our body. And on your next inhale, start to lift your chest. Walk the hands towards the body, bring the knees together. We're going to come to an all fours position. A couple rounds of our cat-cow. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Just moving between your cat and cow. Try and connect your movement with your breath. And one more round. Come back to a neutral position. Extend the legs behind, coming to a plank pose, ensuring that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Strengthen through the core, pull the belly button towards the spine. And let's start by taking a few circles, moving in a clockwise direction, warming up our wrists. And switch direction. Okay, a little bit of core just to heat things up to start with. Come to a side plank on the left. Spin the right arm open. Try and stack the right shoulder on top of the left. Lift the hips. Maybe take your gaze towards your right hand. And then we're going to lift the right leg, step it down in front flat, and then lower the left hip down, right fingertips point towards the back of your space. Take the gaze over the right fingertips. On your inhale, lift your hips, right arm comes up and overhead, big side body stretch. Roll the right shoulder back and open. And release the hips back down again, fingertips reach towards the back of your space. We're going to come all the way to the front of our mat, right hand comes down, step back to a plank. And we're just going to switch sides, stacking the left shoulder on top of the right. Now reach the left arm up. Pull the left hip a little bit higher. Maybe take the gaze towards the left hand. Start to lift the left leg, step the foot in front of the body, lower the right hip down, reach the left fingertips to the back of your mat. On your next inhale, lift the hips, left arm comes up and overhead. And exhale, release. Inhale, left hand comes back to the top of your mat, step back to a plank. And then we're going to push the hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Just a couple of moments to pedal into the feet. Sink the belly towards the thighs. Feel the length down your spine. And let's come to a still downward facing dog. Bring your big toes together. Inhale the left leg towards the sky for a 3-leg dog. Point into the toes, try and keep your hips square. Take an inhale. Exhale, hug the left knee in towards the chest. Look between your hands, step the left foot between the hands. Come to your lunge, take an inhale. Exhale, long pyramid, straighten through the left leg. Lean over the left leg with the chest. Inhale, come back to your lunge. We're going to open to our Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Arms come up onto the line, sink down nice and low into your Warrior 2. And then we're going to come up onto the left toe, so lift the left heel. Bring the right arm around behind the back, reach for the inside of the left thigh, reverse your warrior. Try and lift up high on that left foot. Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, come back to your Warrior 2. Just one last moment here. And then we're coming to Skandasana at the back of the mat. Straighten through the left leg, bend into the right. Lift the left toes up. And if you want to extend the arms here, bring the right arm in front of the right leg. Open the left arm towards the sky. And then we're coming to Goddess, so we're going to bend into the left leg, toes point out, heels slightly in, bring your hands on top of the thighs, sink down nice and low in your Goddess. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, drop the left shoulder down, look over to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, drop the right shoulder down. Inhale, come back to center, straighten into your legs, bring your toes in, heels out, hands come onto the hips, take an inhale, exhale, forward fold. Your hands can release down onto the mat in front of your face, try and reach the crown of the head down. I have a lovely upside down view of the Pont du Gard. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Walk the hands to the top of your mat, spin onto the left foot, come back to your lunge, take an inhale. Exhale, ground into the hands, step back to a 3-leg plank, lift the left toes. As you exhale, chaturanga, bend into the elbows, pull through to an upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Bring your big toes together. Inhale, right leg towards the sky, 3-leg dog. Try and keep your hips square, point into the right toes. Start to bend into the knee, pull the right knee in towards the chest, look between the hands, step the foot between the hands, come to your lunge, take an inhale. Exhale, long pyramid. Start to re-bend into the right leg, open to your Virabhadrasana 2. Sink deep into the right leg, look over the right fingertips. And then you're going to come up high onto the right toes, lift the right heel. Reversing our warrior, bringing our left arm around, reach for the inside of the right thigh, right arm comes up and overhead. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale back to Warrior 2, keep that heel lifted for 1 more second. Release the right heel, coming back to a Skandasana at the back of our mat, bend into the left leg. Maybe you open your arms out wide, reach the right hand towards the sky. And moving to our Goddess, bending into both legs, toes point out, heels in, yeah. Bring your hands on top of your thighs, take an inhale. Exhale, drop the left shoulder down, look over to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, drop the right shoulder down, look over to the left. Inhale, back to center, straightening into the legs, heels out, toes in, hands onto the hips, take an inhale. Exhale, wide leg forward fold. Hands can release down onto the mat below you. Try and reach the crown of the head down to the mat. On your next inhale, start to push into your hands to lift the chest. Walk the hands to the top of your mat, come back to a lunge. Take an inhale. Exhale, ground into the hands, step back to a 3-leg plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Pull through to your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, come high up onto the toes, bend into the knees, look towards the top of your mat and step or jump to your forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And then we're going to bring our hands slightly in front of us, moving into crow pose. So we're going to bend into the knees, pull the knees in towards the armpits. And just a couple moments to play around with your crow. Maybe you lift one leg, maybe you lift both. My armpits are very sweaty, so I'm struggling a little bit in my crow. Maybe leggings would have been a better idea. And if you are there, try and pull the feet in towards the glutes. And release the feet down, come back to your forward fold. Deep bend in the knees, roll the spine, come all the way up to standing. Inhale, arms come up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg in front of us, keeping it straight, trying to lift the right leg as high as we can. Engaging our right quad. And then we're going to start to lever forwards to our warrior 3. Keep the hands at the center of the heart space. Trying to get one straight line through the crown of the head and the right toes. And then as gracefully as you can, we're going to move to our high lunge. So bend into the left knee, release the right foot down. Arms come up and overhead, sink nice and low into the left leg. Drop the shoulders down and away from the ears. Take an inhale. As you exhale, power lunge, bring your arms beside you, lean the chest forwards. And then we're going to interlace the hands behind the body, roll the shoulders back, pull the palms towards each other, and then release the left shoulder down towards the left knee. Pull the arms away from the back body. One more round of breath. And release your hands to frame your left foot, lower the right knee down, straighten into the left leg for your half splits. Inhale, start to bend into the left leg, ground into the hands, step back to your 3-leg plank again. Take an inhale, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big inhale through your nose, exhale, sigh out the mouth. Inhale, come high up onto your toes. Bend into the knees, step or jump to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands out in front of you again, a couple moments to play around with your crow pose. Bringing your knees in towards your armpits. Start to lean yourself forward, maybe lifting one foot, maybe lifting both feet off of the mat. One more round of breath. And release the feet down, come back to your forward fold. Deep bend into the knees, roll the spine, come all the way up to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's move to the other side. We're going to lift the left leg in front of us. Try and lift as high as you can with the left thigh. Take a big inhale. Exhale, start to lever forwards to your Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Trying to get one straight line through the crown of the head and the left toes. And then as gently as you can, you're going to bend into the right leg, lower the left foot down, come to your high lunge, arms come up and overhead, sink nice and low into the right leg. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale. Exhale, power lunge, arms come to the side, lean the chest forwards. And then interlace the hands the less intuitive way this time. Roll the shoulders back, pull the palms together. Start to lean the right shoulder towards the right knee. Pull the hands away from the back body. And start to release the clasp, frame your right foot, lower the left knee down straight and into the right leg, half splits. Start to re-bend into the right leg, ground into the hands, tuck the left toes, lift to a 3-leg plank, take an inhale. Exhale, drop the chest, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come high up onto your toes. This time we're going to jump to our glutes. Jumping to the top of your space, maybe landing feet first and then lower yourself onto your bottom. Just scoot back a little bit on your mat. So we're coming to our Navasana, boat pose. Lift the feet off of the mat, arms come either side, sit up nice and tall. Maybe you start to straighten into the legs. Try and lift up as high as you can. And if you want to, you can bring the peace fingers around the big toes, straighten the legs. Last variation here, if you want to extend the legs apart from each other. Try and sit up nice and tall. Start to bring the legs back together if you open them. Bend into the legs, release the arms either side. And then releasing into Baddha Konasana, our butterfly fold, soles of the feet together. Interlace the hands, bring them underneath the feet. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to fold the chest forwards. Take one more round of breath. On your next inhale, start to push into your hands, lift your chest, scoot forward so that we can come down onto our backs. Bring the soles of the feet towards the glutes, coming to our bridge pose. Take an inhale, lift your hips. Try and roll the shoulders underneath the back body. If you want to interlace the hands, you can. Try and squeeze the knees in towards each other. Squeeze into the glutes to lift your hips as high as you can. Take one more round of breath. Lift a bit higher. Exhale, release the hips down, vertebra by vertebra. Hug the knees in towards the chest. And then we're going to move into our happy baby pose. So hands reach for the outside edge of both feet. Pull the knees either side of the body. And if you want to, you can play around with straightening into one leg or maybe both legs at the same time. Try and push your hips glued to the mat though as you do this. Hug the knees in towards the chest, release your happy baby. Squeeze the knees as close to the body as you can. Squeeze, 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 squeeze everything in. Maybe even squeeze the forehead towards the knees. One more round of breath. Squeeze everything as tight as you can. And then we're going to release into our Shavasana. If you need to undo your hair, you can do that now. And just relax your body onto the mat below you. Palms facing open, or they can rest on top of your belly. Let the feet fall either side. And just feel the connection of your body and the mat below you. Feeling the earth that supports yourself. And feeling the energy that you've just created and moved around your body with a bit of movement. And as we go into the more subtler side of our yoga practice, try not to rush through this part. Don't let your mind run away from what you're doing right now. Just let it return back to the body, back to this stillness. And just listening to the soft ripples of the water. And when you're ready, you can start to bring some awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring the feet in towards each other. Inhale, extend the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, pull the knees in towards the body, hug the arms around the legs. And gently rock onto one side by cradling the head. And you can slowly transition to a seated pose. Try and keep your eyes closed. Gently crossing the ankles. Hands can rest on top of the knees. So we'll take a deep inhale through the nose together. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Bring your hands to the center of your heart space in Anjali Mudra and bow down. Softly blink your eyes open. Whew. Thank you for joining me for this strong practice. I am very sweaty and hot right now, so I hope you've worked up a little bit of power in your body and you're feeling pretty strong, maybe you want to come back to this class another time. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you another time. Thank you. Namaste.